Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com to plan your visit.
Philadelphia fans, we're cut from a different cloth. Born into a brotherhood and bonded to our team for life. We believe anything is possible because we've witnessed the impossible. While we may be from different neighborhoods, come Sunday, we are one, and we will be heard. Pondley Hockey, official partner of the Philadelphia Eagles.
Back at it again. It's the Football Playbook with your boy, RIC, in the place to be. Buckle up. 2 hours of straight power here on the JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. It's all brought to you by Ocean Casino Resorts, and this is the home for real football talk. Your home for the number one seeded Philadelphia Eagles. Your home of the 14-3. Bird Gang, oh baby, buckle up. T-shirt and hat day at the link. Hey, big shout out to all the chat room people. We're going to get into it, baby. I see you, TB, the real GOAT, Alexander Freeman, Adams Exploits, William Stark, 007. Oh, baby. No such thing as an ugly win here. Mission accomplished. You guys got it right. And we're now 34 days away to the Super Bowl. It's a 1-month season. A lot to get into here in the next 2 hours of power. Oh, baby. Ric Serritella, Jalen Hurts, Brandon Graham, Darius Slay, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, Jason Kelsey. They brought us all the big dogs post-game yesterday. We got all that reaction. Says here Sirianni was on was he on WIP this morning with the Mush media, the Philadelphia media that, you know, is starting to irk me here. I'll get into some of that. Zero accountability with the media. And that's why the Football Playbook is where it's at, in the front and the back. Real talk. None of this buttery nonsense. None of this fugazi reporting. None of this buddy. You know, too many people in the media trying to be friendly with the coaching staff, man. I want reporting. I want facts, man. I want information. So welcome to the show. That's what we do here. Niners all damn day. Oh, baby, you are excited, aren't you? Peter, good morning. And here's the bottom line. Eagles got it done. Jalen Hurts back in the saddle. And in a way, it was a good thing. It was a good thing against the Giants JV team. And what we saw was a quarterback who missed 2 weeks, right? What we saw was a quarterback that, you know, had to work out some rust. And what we saw was a team hungry, fighting. You're right. It wasn't the prettiest, but at the end of the day, a win is a win is a win. And hey, Adams Exploits doing his best Popeye the Sailor Man. I hear you, man. You know what? It doesn't always go according to plan, but hey, here we are on this January 9th. Hit the reset button. It's a 34-day season. And for the next 13 days, Eagles don't have a game. Nope. They got time to self-scout, get it right, get it tight. Only one other team has that benefit, the Kansas City Chiefs. Niners all damn day. Yeah, Hurts looked rusty. Yeah, he didn't play for a couple weeks. And what up, JC? What up, Craig Moten? What up, Brawlster B? What up, Sully Music? Everybody up in here today. The bottom line is this. You're talking about a quarterback who, yes, Sirianni said he was hurting bad, still sore. But the good thing is further injury was not a risk. That is what we do know. Further injury was not a risk. 007, Dylan, go Sixers. Great to see you. And so, with that being said, it was good to trot him out there and understand what he's dealing with. And understand that now he has 2 more weeks to get rested. And he's got 2 more weeks to test out the shoulder. So, in a way, it was good. But you're going to see a different offensive attack. You're going to see a different game plan. You're going to see Jalen Hurts adapt and adjust to the pain that he's feeling. So, yeah, there was not as many designed runs. Jalen tried to get rid of the ball quick. In some instances, he held on to the ball too long. In some instances, he made a mistake. He made an interception. In some instances, he took the sack when in previous to the injury, he might not have. But that's what it is going into the playoffs, guys. By the way, Jalen Hurts, the second youngest quarterback to win 14 games, joining Dan Marino. Now, obviously, Hurts had an extra game to do it. But yes, the positives are no further injuries, no extended injuries, but an offense that has to figure out what is their identity going to be going into the offseason. And Jalen Hurts had 9 rushes on paper, but for the most part, the offense called 35 pass plays, 25 pass run plays, and so they still, I think I saw, did they throw the ball the first 10 plays of the game? They're still on this passing kick. Not sure that's going to change. What I will say, very frustrated by the lack of questions, very frustrated by the reporting and the information gathering post-game. I mean, Ric Serritella spoke to the media. We got 0 questions on Miles Sanders. 0. In terms of, yeah, he was listed as limited, but he told us the knee isn't a problem. Yet there was zero questions to Miles Sanders or Ric Serritella about the knee, about the usage, about what that backfield might look like as we head into the playoffs. And you saw quite a bit of Boston Scott, Kenneth Gainwell, and 0 explanation for it. 0 on the health or usage of Miles Sanders. I'll tell you, man, if you want to win the Super Bowl, Miles Sanders has got to be a key cog. I'm starting to believe that the coaching staff has little to no confidence in Miles Sanders. And that's a problem for me anyway. Boston Scott, he is the giant killer. His 10th career touchdown against the G-Men. 10 of this guy's 17 touchdowns have come against the Giants. Now, I get it. I get it for the Giants game. I won't get it if that's what it looks like on January 21st. If that's what it looks like on January 21st, that's not a Super Bowl caliber offense that Shane Steichen is running over there. So, big shout out to A.J. Brown. He breaks Mike Quick single season receiving record back in 1983. Saw A.J. Brown with the Mike Quick jersey postgame. That was cool. Devonta Smith set the single season reception record. So the records continue to pour in. They don't get the sack record. The sack pack finishes with 70 sacks, third most all time. They did break franchise records for total points in a season, 477. Again, an extra game there. They did set a franchise record for third down percentage, 45.7%. Pretty damn good. And they did set a single season franchise record for red zone percentage, 67.8%, which is one of the most improved categories statistically speaking. So some records continue here. And the coaching staff called the simplified playbook, Serrato says. Anything to keep our players healthy. Hopefully that's the case, but that's been the case now for the last 6 games. I mean, Miles Sanders has not rushed for over 65 yards in a game now. You got to go back to before Thanksgiving. He's been eliminated from the offensive equation. Not eliminated, but very downgraded. A diminished role. And it's concerning for me, especially when a running back tells me my knee's good and he's questioning the reporters like, how'd it look to you? Felt fine to me. Then the head coach says, oh, the injury's an issue. And then we don't see him play. Again, am I the only one? Am I the only skeptic in the media that sees this? Am I the only one in the media able to read the tea leaves? If not, then get some balls and start asking the questions that we demand to know. I'm about to fuck around and go apply for a media credential myself because we got 0 questions on Lane Johnson. We got 0 questions on the availability of Josh Sweat heading into the playoffs, Avonte Maddox updates, why TJ Edwards was the dime package linebacker instead of Kaiser White, and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson moving to the nickelback role. None of that was answered. None of that was questioned. Never mind being answered. Getting tired of it, man. Give me some freaking answers. Give me some real questions, man, instead of all this fluff. It's like 20 minutes of bullshit all the time. So tired of it, man. The reporters mailed it in for the season? God damn. It's playoff football. Nobody's doing their job. The coaches, the media, and the players. Somebody needs to man up. Anyway, the Giants take care of business 22-16 if you're just checking in on the Football Playbook. It's our 88th episode, the good old high school number, 88. Ooh, baby. Here on this Monday, January 9th, 2023. The road runs through Philly, 14-3. And, yeah, I mean, listen. The coaching staff, I mean, they've got a very, very easy job dealing with this Philadelphia media. They are lobbing softballs all over the place, man. Then I go watch a Dallas press conference or a New York press conference. They're asking the tough questions. They're asking the questions that the fans want to know. Now, Ric Serritella, 23-11 in his first 2 seasons. I think you got to go all the way back to Ray Rhodes to find the last Eagles coach to have a winning record in his first 2 seasons. They clinched the number 1 seed. By the way, they hold the 10th overall pick in the NFL draft, thanks to the New Orleans Saints pick. But this was a very different offense. Get used to it. Get used to it. Because they are going to have to adapt and adjust. Travis Yoder says the media is being pressured to not ask the hard questions. In a way, yes. Because what Sirianni does by talking off the record and saying, hey, I'm going to tell you this, but please don't report it. But you can report this, but please don't report that. It's compromising the integrity of the media. Seriously. Hey, guys, I'm going to tell you something, but please don't report it. No wonder why all the national guys get the scoops. Breaking, chiming in with some NFL draft talk. I'll try to get into some NFL draft talk later on in the show if we can. You know, I want to get into this Eagles team, the number 1 seed, what it means. I've got, some very big question marks heading into the playoffs, and I want to find answers. Not sure I got them out of the media, so we'll do our own investigative work. We'll get to the bottom of it ourselves. And throughout the course of the week, we'll pop on the beat writers who do a good job, who aren't too Hollywood to blow us off over here. Yeah, a lot of Hollywood. It's like everybody thinks they're entitled to the center spot on Hollywood Squares over here in the Philadelphia media. Woo, baby. So, yeah, good one, James. Stella. Integrity, media in the same sentence at 007. I made a funny. Ricky made a funny, huh? William Stark, thank you for asking. Yes, Kayla Santiago is out of the hospital. She's scheduled to join us on Wednesday along with Glenn Irby. We'll have our good friend Gail Saunders back this week down there at the tailgate yesterday, doing it big. Dane Vandernat will check in on Thursday. We'll get into a little bit of the college football playoffs at the end of the show. I'll highlight some of the draft prospects, some of those potential targets maybe with the Eagles holding 2 first-round picks. So we'll get in some TCU and Georgia talk. We'll get into some retirement talk. We'll get into some playoff seedings and matchups. We'll get into the Eagles 2018 schedule, opponents were put out there. And there's a lot to get into. So I noticed, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was back at his safety spot yesterday, except for in the nickel packages where they slid him over as we kind of anticipated into that slot role, something that he did a lot of at New Orleans, something he did a lot of at Florida. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson did not hold back, letting you know what a good job he did yesterday. He said, yo, I'm the best safety in the game. Y'all know that. Y'all know I'm the best safety in the game. I ain't trying to stand up here and brag about it. These are Chauncey Gardner's words now. I'm improvising. I ain't trying to stand up here and brag about it and tell y'all, but y'all know I'm the best safety. After he said he didn't want to talk about it, then he told me 5 times how he is the best safety. And, then he asked him about that. Somebody asked about the versatility. He's like, yo, that's what you get in the best safety. Man, I didn't play for 4 or 5 games. I still lead the league in interceptions. Let me tell you how much I am the best safety, because I will be commanding $15 million plus per year in the offseason. So Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, baby, selling himself. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. Yeah, Chauncey brings the juice, man. He brings the energy. He also brings the confidence. Absolutely. So, enjoy him while you can. Might not be back next year, but he did say, Avonte Maddox has been a big help, kind of helping him coach up. And, he did say he did benefit from being traded to Philadelphia. He said the Eagles benefited, I benefited, and that it was humbling to come here in a way because you had two lockdown number one cornerbacks, something he's never played with or seen before. And he did mention that, I'm not going to say Chauncey's going to take a hometown discount, but he did say they treat me a lot better here in Philadelphia. He did say that. And he said, hey, night and day in terms of how he's been treated in Philly compared to New Orleans. And then he alluded to the coaching staff. He alluded to the facilities. So we shall see. Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. And again, I don't know. We got 2 more weeks to figure it out. I don't know how his role will be implemented moving forward because we just don't know about Avonte Maddox and the toe injury, which, again, when it comes to Maddox and Lane Johnson, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. That's my mentality anyway. Again, 0 questions when it comes to Lane Johnson, Avonte Maddox, yesterday's press conference. We just don't know yet. Josh Sweat, we just don't know yet. Which I will say, it's going to be a big deal. Big deal. I think Avonte Maddox, Lane Johnson, two of my 5 burning questions heading into the playoffs. And we're going to take a quick break and get into more of that. 5 burning concerns when it comes to playoff time. Also, Jonathan Gannon. He could be the next to exit stage left. Be careful what you ask for, Eagles fans. You just might get it. I'll explain that and more right after this. Don't go anywhere. Smash that like button. It's the Football Playbook with Ric Serritella, Tone DeShields II, holding it down. Time to pay some bills, y'all.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Ram starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Postgame show with Seth Joyner.
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn.
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney.
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
And Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Postgame, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Back at it again. It's the Football Playbook with your boy RIC and a place to be, Ric Serritella. Broadcasting live from the Jersey Shore around the football universe. It's the home of your 14-3 number 1 seed Philadelphia Eagles. It's your home for real football talk. It's your home for the football universe here. 34 days into the Super Bowl, 108 days to the NFL draft. We got you covered from the front to the back. Where you at? I'm at Sports Illustrated, si.com/NFL/draft. You'll find over 700 scouting reports for 2023 and beyond. Woo, baby. Buckle up. The Eagles not only have the number 1 seed, but the number 10 pick in the NFL draft. The Tankathon standings are out. How about that? The Houston Texans played themselves out of the number 1 pick. It'll look a little like this at the top of the draft. Chicago Bears 1, Houston Texans 2, Arizona Cardinals 3, followed by the Colts at 4. And then the Seahawks, of course, from that Russell Wilson trade, will have a top 5 pick. Also sneaking in the back door of the playoffs. Hey, shout out to all the chat room people. I see ya. Paul Mancini, welcome. 007, Richard Rosania, good. Glad to see we had a winning weekend. Kansu, 55-73. I'm going to get into that. Brock Purdy, Niners all damn day. I know he's going to look forward to what I have to say about the Brock Purdy-led San Francisco 49ers. But back to life, back to reality. Ooh, baby. We've got... If you're scared, go to church, Phillypolis. We got 5 burning questions that I want answered over the next, January 21st is 12 days away. Here's the deal. Here's what I want answered. Here's what I want to know. Here's what I want to find out. Here's what the Eagles will be doing during their bye week as they do their self-scouting once again. First and foremost, Jalen Hurts. What does this offense look like with Jalen moving forward. And I think we got a glimpse of it yesterday. Now, unfortunately, since nobody asked, Nick Sirianni yesterday said Jalen was playing in a lot of pain. Now, there was no risk of further injury. What we don't know, at least I have not heard, maybe you guys have, was Jalen Hurts injected with any kind of painkiller yesterday? Was he shot up to reduce some of the pain? Or was he playing as is? Because we had Coach Flip on Friday's show, and he had the same exact sprained to AC joint tear in the throwing shoulder. And Coach Flip has been kind of talking through this injury over the last couple weeks. He'll be back at it again Football Friday. But he did say as time goes on, Jalen's pain will not be as great. And he did say, typically they will shoot you up. Typically they will give you some kind of painkillers to get through. But he did say that's not always the case, because Jalen may have wanted to test it out and get a baseline and gauge the pain and see exactly what his limitations were. But I don't know, because nobody asked. So we don't know if Jalen was playing on painkillers, if he took a shot, if he did not, if he will in the playoffs. I have no idea. All I can do is speculate at this point until somebody asks the damn question. I would assume they shot him up with something. But that's an assumption. Now, if that was how he played with a pain shot, then this offense does have to adapt and adjust. The Eagles have to find a balance here in the postseason between limiting the designed runs, preserving the health of Jalen Hurts over the next 34 days, which really becomes a 22-day window. By the time they take the field 2 Sundays from now, it's a 22-day season. So over those 22 days, I get it. You want to limit the touches. You want to limit the designed runs, but you don't want to limit your strengths. And right now, yesterday at least, one of the biggest strengths was taken out of the playbook. And the Giants knew that. And we saw sacks. We saw poor decision-making. We saw negative plays instead of shots downfield, instead of tucking it and running. So, to me, that's a big deal. One, the pain tolerance and threshold of Jalen Hurts. And two, how that impacts the offensive game plan. Hopefully we find out more as the weeks wear on. Two, and maybe only Lane Johnson knows this, Lane Johnson is just as important, if not more important, than Jalen Hurts to the offense. And so with that abandonment injury in his core and being able to play with that, he's got 2 more weeks or 12 more days to get rest, get strong, and see if he can go. But again, anything Lane Johnson gives me is a bonus. And I agree. I think it was one of the articles this morning said 80% Lane Johnson is better than 100% of Jack Driscoll, right? Mr. Bubble Wrap? I don't know. I think Lane is pretty damn important. I said almost just as important as Jalen. And maybe more important. Maybe. So my next point is kind of tied into the offensive line, is Miles Sanders' role in the run game. The run game is going to be very critical, one, in preserving Jalen's health, two, in making this a complete offensive attack. And right now, there is no fear from that running back committee. Miles Sanders has not had a big game in like 3 months. It's been about 3 months since Miles Sanders has had a big game. They need that young man come playoff time. You know, I get it. Gainwell, Boston Scott, the Giant Killer, they played well yesterday. It's a different offense when Miles Sanders is clicking on all cylinders. Now, again, I don't know because nobody asked it. Where his lack of touches, I'm assuming you wanted to preserve Miles for the playoff run, but Miles tells us the knee isn't an injury. So was it a medical thing? Was it a mental thing? I know Miles Sanders said he had to leave the field pregame from a mental standpoint. He had to take a break pregame mentally with everything that happened because of Damar Hamlin, his good friend. And I'm not knocking that. I'm just saying, like, I want more clarification. I want more answers. I shouldn't be here on Monday morning speculating about this. And Niners all damn day said the offense looked very plain and vanilla. Yes, it did. One, they had to simplify it. Two, I think they were just trying to get out of there with the W, knowing very well that they could see the Giants coming back around again January 21st. And Miles Sanders had a $144 against the Packers on November 27th, New Jersey Fishing Maniac says. That's fine. I'll give you the one game, but I'm not making this up, guys. Look at the game logs. Pulling it up for you right now. Go look at the touches and go look at the workload. The touches aren't there. December 11th, he had a $144. 11 for 33 yesterday, 12 for 61 before that, 21 carries against the Cowboys, only 65 yards, 11 for 42 against the Bears, and then $144 came against the Giants. Then he had 10 for 24 against the Titans, and a big game against the Packers and Giants. But my point is, guys, if you go all the way back to December 30th, this guy has had two big games, really. He had that career day against the Jaguars in early October, and then they abandoned him. They got away from him. There's something going on with Miles Sanders. Phillypolis, is he getting out of line? Do we have to tame him down? What's going on? Yeah, the best. This is, enjoy the next 34 days, because 14 wins. That's something the Eagles have never done in franchise history. Granted, the extra game, but this could be the most fun that Eagles fans have ever had. The potential is there. with Seth Joyner. I didn't get a chance to check the Ponley hockey pre and post game. Was Seth Joyner pissed? I don't blame him. Who's having cancer surgery on the tongue? I would like to know who is. My father had throat and tongue cancer, so shout out, prayers. Yeah, Brian, I try to ask the questions that people want to know. Maybe I should start going to these press conferences myself and getting the job done. Espo, I know it hurts. We have a scheduled appointment for the buckle up face tattoo. You, me, and Mike Tyson. Buckle up, baby. Richard Rosania, appreciate it. New Jersey fishing maniac, your dad. Sorry to hear that, man. I can relate. And just be there for him. Positivity and attitude, half the battle. We're definitely going to be thinking about you, New Jersey fishing maniac. All right. Hey, it's the TFP with RIC here on the JAKIB Sports YouTube channel. Smash that like button. We get it in. Real talk. Football, Eagles. Oh, baby. So, Jalen, the offensive playbook, big question. Lane Johnson, what does that offensive line look like? Big question. Miles Sanders' role. Big question. And my dad was stage 4. If he's 58, New Jersey fishing maniac, that's great. He's still very young enough to battle through, baby. Hunker down, buckle up, Pops. Absolutely. Other things that concern me, and a lot of it is on the offensive side, the red zone offense. I just mentioned they set a franchise record. I mean, they have not been more efficient than they have this year. 67.8, almost 68% of red zone conversions. Yesterday, not so much. 1 for 5. And I think some of that had to do with the condensed offensive playbook. Not as much to account for. And so they struggled mightily in the red zone yesterday, 1 for 5. That's got to get better. Thank God for Jake Elliott. Was it 72%? Justin, 72% before yesterday. So they're going to have to improve that. Stephen J. Patton says, will Josh Sweat be back for the playoffs? Great question, Stephen. If only one of our media brethren had thought to ask that question yesterday, we might know an answer, but we don't. We're sitting here. It's the Monday morning darkness hour. Because instead we got questions like, oh, what does it feel to wear a T-shirt and hat? How does it make you feel? What does that mean to win a T-shirt and hat? Yeah, Jalen scrambling to the right versus the left with this injury. That could be an issue come playoff time. Brian, Jordan Davis, as far as I know, is not injured. And also, like the turnovers, right? We talked about, or Coach Sirianni has talked about how they teach ball security, how they teach turnovers. The turnover margin here in the second half of the season, I don't know what the numbers are. I have made note though, the turnover margin, we need to ante that back up come playoff time. Dave McKnight, Josh Sweat would definitely be back for the playoffs. I know I heard Sirianni last week say Sweat was back. He was smiling. He was probably going to be a pain in the you-know-what to play again this week. So it sounds like Josh Sweat is trending in the right direction in terms of what we heard last week. But I didn't hear anything yesterday. My name is right here. Says, hey, we're the number 1 seed. People still losing their minds. We could be the Browns. Yeah, enjoy it, guys. Enjoy it. You definitely, as an Eagles fan, you definitely deserve to enjoy this. Robert Plank says, Jalen is hurt worse than they're saying. They're not telling us how hurt he is. They're just saying, yeah, we know he was hurting. We don't know how much he was hurt. We don't know if he took a painkiller shot. We don't know if he was out there playing on adrenaline. We just don't know. Anything else would be speculation. And that's why we get guys like Coach John D. Filippo to pop on here and talk about it based on real life experience. Someone who's gone through it. Someone who's played quarterback. Someone who's played quarterback and had the sprain on his throwing shoulder. That's the closest thing I can give to you. And if the Eagles fans are pessimistic at 14-3, it's also for good reason. This was not a pretty December/January. Remember we said, oh, it's going to be a November to remember, and yes, it was. I mean, what were they, 11-1 going into December? December and January did not treat them so kindly. So, yeah, compared to where they were at and where they're at now, I mean, I'm feeling good, not great. Is Jalen going to be restricted when the playoffs come around? I would imagine he's going to be restricted somewhat, unless the pain shot can make him feel 100%. I don't know. I want to learn more about. I understand that he heals faster than us, that he's stronger than us, that he eats faster, that he walks faster, that he just wakes up better than me every day. He puts his socks on better than I do. I mean, this Jalen Hurts, man, he gets dressed faster than me. In fact, his car, when he warms up the car in wintertime, his car actually heats up faster than mine because he's Jalen Hurts. Oh, baby. Yeah, I thought the ball velocity definitely was noticeable. I thought there was less ball velocity. I thought he was a little bit hesitant to take shots downfield. I think he was hesitant to tuck and run. And when you add up all these little things, it can be a big deal. Or, like the great game of football, we learn to adapt and adjust week to week. Mask on or off. He blinks faster than me. No, you didn't know? Jalen Hurts has superhuman powers, mask on, mask off. He doesn't blink. That's the difference between Jalen and I. He's superhuman. He does not blink. Wow, JC says the Eagles have the worst turnover margin in the entire league over the last 8 weeks, -6. That's half a season. He wears PF Flyers. That counts for something. By the way, I did appreciate the I'm Back Michael Jordan shirt. In case you didn't see that, Hurts was rocking the I'm Back MJ shirt. And so getting into, my questions entering the bye week, the secondary on defense, especially this passing defense, I tell you what, I mean, TJ Edwards now is the dime package linebacker instead of Kaiser White, but I'm starting to be concerned about this Darius Slay. and the complementary parts in the secondary. Now, that turnover margin the second half of the season, a tale of two stories. The performance of the one Darius Slay has been the tale of two halves. First half, he was playing at an all-pro caliber level of play. In fact, he was voted to the Pro Bowl. And it seems like ever since he was voted to the Pro Bowl, he's played pretty poorly. And that, to me, is a big issue in the secondary. You know, Avonte Maddox, we don't know if he's going to be available January 21st. We don't know. And with that, you know, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is going to have to continue to play this hybrid role of playing the nickel corner and safety. So in dime, Chauncey's the safety. In nickel, Reed Blankenship's the safety. And I think that when you put Chauncey in the slot, you kind of lose some of that center field quarterback deceptiveness, because Chauncey Gardner will lure in the quarterback, and he's very aggressive and does a great job with the interceptions. So you kind of lose that element when you've got Chauncey in the slot, and the play of the one Darius Slay has been concerning. James Bradbury, as far as I'm concerned, has been the best cornerback from start to finish here. And that tells me Bradbury is going to be, in my opinion, viewed as the slightly more valuable asset come the offseason. Finding a lockdown cover corner, as we're finding out, is a lot harder than finding a quality safety, as we found out. Go see Reed Blankenship. I didn't hear anything about Maddox Paisan because nobody asked yesterday about an update on Avonte Maddox. There were zero questions about Avonte Maddox from the media yesterday, so I don't know. But I do think the secondary is going to have to pick their game up. Now, Slay was very excited because this was the first time, I think he's got a decade in the league. First time he's clinched. First time he got a hat and a t-shirt. First time he's got the number one seed. So how about them Cowboys? Just a quick snapshot here. We'll take a quick break in a few minutes, come back and get into some more around the league shenanigans. But, you know, somebody mentioned Brock Purdy, man, and you're not worried about Brock Purdy? I believe. I don't know about you guys. I believe. What this kid has done in 6 games, this ain't just a flash in the pan. It's 1/3 of the season. 6 games is enough of a body of work to know what we got here. And what we got here, and this is just one man's opinion, I've only been watching this great game of football professionally for 21 years. Professionally as a member of the media, but I don't know. From what I saw, guys, over the last 6 games, I don't think I can name 5 quarterbacks better in the NFL since since Thanksgiving. Brock Purdy. Can you name 5 quarterbacks better than this kid? I can't. That's how high of a level this kid's been playing. Think about this guy. He's 6-0. 6-0. And he's got 13 touchdowns and 4 interceptions. I'm just saying, like, over the course of a season, this guy, if you do the math, I mean, his numbers would tell you that you take the 6 games and average them out to an 18-game season, it'd be 4,000 yards, it'd be 40 touchdowns. He's the real deal. Kansu, yeah. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen. I don't think Justin Herbert's been better than Brock Purdy. I don't know what you're watching. Trevor Lawrence, maybe. Joe Burrow, yeah. Like I said, you can't name 5 quarterbacks playing at a higher level than Brock Purdy. Who have they played? You want to pull that one, guys? It's the National Football League. Did you see what happened to the Dallas Cowgirls yesterday? Who did they play? A non-playoff team. I'm not into the whole, hey, they didn't beat anybody good philosophy. It's the National Football League. Guys, look at what he's done. Hey, he comes in for Jimmy G. He goes 25 of 37 for 210, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. His first start, he goes 16 of 21 for $185, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. His next start, 17 of 26, 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. This guy's good. The next game, 15 of 22, very efficient, 234, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. The next start, 22 of 35, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Yesterday, 15 of 20, very efficient, 178 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. If you don't think Brock Purdy is one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the NFL right now, we're watching a different game. Kid is good. Kid is real. Real talk. That's what we do here on the Football Playbook. Justin Serrato says, didn't Cooper Rush do almost the same exact thing? Almost, not quite. I think what you've seen here, though, Brock Purdy was undefeated. Cooper Rush was not. But I think more importantly, what you're seeing is a guy who's winning ball games. Cooper Rush was managing ball games. That's the difference. This guy is winning games. He's not just steering the ship. He's putting the team on his back. G-Mac says Eagles will make him look like the rookie that he is. I hope so. I hope so. Nobody has yet. Nobody's done that yet. The Real Zeal says he has an awesome supporting cast. Really? Because last time I checked, Deebo Samuel hasn't played in a month. Ayuk, always hurt. He's better than Jimmy G. No doubt. Jimmy G is an afterthought in San Francisco. They won't even consider bringing back Jimmy G after the performance of the one Brock Purdy. And I saw Trey Lance had his second surgery on that ankle. I don't think you'll ever see Trey Lance start for the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers discovered a franchise quarterback by accident. That guy is a franchise quarterback, and he will be the starter in the saddle for San Francisco week number 1. The only question now is who will be in the saddle for the Super Bowl. 34 days away. Oh, baby, we're just getting started. It's an hour of power down. We got an hour of power to go. When we come back, I've got your 2023 Eagles schedule, and a lot of you still want Jonathan Gannon to depart. Well, be careful what you wish for. Your wish may just have been granted. I'll explain right after this. Smash the like button. We'll see you back in 2 minutes.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Rams starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
Postgame show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Postgame, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
Back at it again. It's the RIC and a place to be. Ric Serritella, telling it like it is when it comes to the 14-3 Philadelphia Eagles, your number 1 seed, the National Football League, football universe, and everything that's real about this great game of football. We got an hour of power down, an hour of power to go. Let us know where you're checking in on this beautiful Monday, January 9th, 2023, 34 days into the Super Bowl, 108 days until the NFL draft. Let us know where you're checking in from the front to the back, east to west coast spread. Love to see where all of our listeners are at. I know last week we had New Roswell, New Mexico. We had New Zealand. Of course, Philadelphia. We got San Diego. Where you checking in from? Smash that like button while you're here. We appreciate the love and support. Our 88th edition here on the Football Playbook, TFP, with your boy, RIC. New Jersey Fishing Maniac says 179 people tuned in right now. Bro, can I get half of you to smash that like button, please? Please, baby. Help us out. Get our weight up in the algorithm, man. We appreciate that. We need your help, and we're calling on it here. All right. Hey, Pompton Lakes. Okay, New Jersey Fishing Maniac. Pompton Lakes. What's that up there by Dover and Denville? I know where you're at. JC, I know he's over at Ortley. Smash that like button. ATX, M. Reyes, Telford, PA, Travis Yoder. Checking in from the TPA. Peter, buckle up. Man, William Stark's ice fishing out there in the Great Lakes, the long lake of Northwest Michigan. Ooh, watching from the beach house sounds like the ice house. Stephen J. Patton, thank you for smashing that like button. We appreciate it. James 8107, McAllen, Texas, originally from PA. We got Eagles fans down in enemy territory. Dylan, I know you're up there in the Boise, baby. Man, we got listeners globally around the universe. So happy. We even got Cowboys fans. We even got Niners fans checking in to see what they say on the TFP show with RIC in the place to be. Okay. Try to get into some college football. National championship will be played later on tonight. We'll get into some of the prospects there. Devin from Philly. Devin Owens, what up, baby? Hola, Lucy in San Diego. I always love my San Diego people. Where you at? Good morning, I should say. Oh, baby. Vermont. Christopher White in the Vermont Shrivelicious area. New Jersey Fishing Maniac. I know it quite well. So thank you for everybody tuned in locally, nationally, internationally, globally. We're here, by the way, Monday through Friday, weekdays, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. In case you didn't know, it's a double chin strap affair. So buckle up. Wear your big boy pants when you tune in. D-Dunk, PA native in KC. Ooh, that's where the draft is at, baby. Love you, baby. Love you, Lucy. Love you, Rayleigh, North Carolina. Davy Boy checking in. North Kakalaka down there in Paul Mancini territory. M. Reyes originally from the Valley near McAllen. Oh, we got a lot of people checking in today. Yeah. We red hot. Ooh, baby. Man, I got so much to get into. Only 120 minutes to do it. Alexander Freeman, El Paso, Texas. Of course, the College Gridiron Showcase and the American Football Coaches Association are going on right now down there in El Paso. Mint diggity, Delco, buckle up. And maybe we'll set a new record. We have yet to hit the 100 barrier. The most likes we've gotten is 99, and New Jersey Fishing Maniac says we're now up to 57. Hey, Richard Rosania, I'm here in Lavalette, exit 82. Send those meatballs, please. Palisades Park. Okay, John Monroe, born and raised in Media, PA. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. GMAC, New Jersey always reels you back in, right? Just when you thought it was safe, By the way, did you guys see all the beached whales washing up on the Atlantic City beaches? What the hell is going on? It's like the fourth one in a month. Humpback whales, great big gargantuous whales, are washing up on the shores of Atlantic City. Something going on in the water. All right. So where do I want to go here in this next segment? Well, today is what do they say? Black Monday. I haven't heard a lot. Jeff, PA native in DeBeo, Louisiana. I haven't heard too many coach firings this morning. Now, they wasted little time. Firing the one Lovey Graybeard Smith, another one and done. Rosie O'Donnell, is she a Jersey Shore? We're not claiming her, Jeff. We're not claiming Rosie O'Donnell as part of. I'll claim Snooki, but Rosie O'Donnell's where I draw the line. Is she from the Jersey Shore? I don't think so. Lovie Smith, another one and done job down there for the Houston Texans. And here's Lovie Smith. He only waited 16 games into the year to start his season. He said, "Oh man, let me buckle up and start winning here in the last 2 games and cost us the number 1 pick. Maybe I'll save my job." No, Lovey, you didn't. And did general manager Nick Caserio think there was going to be some kind of stark difference between David Culley and Lovie Smith? So you fired one guy and you just anointed his top assistant and you thought you were going to get different results? Really, Nick? Paisan. Nick Caserio is a weird dude, by the way. If you ever catch him in the press box and you're like, "Hey, coach, what's up?" He gets all like he's scared of social interaction. Anyway, Nick Caserio wasted no time ousting the one Lovie Smith, and the Houston Chronicle this morning reporting that Jonathan Gannon is considered the top candidate for the next head coaching position of the Houston Texans. Richard Rosaria, I've been telling you the media is really soft compared to Dallas or New York. I've been telling you, but it's not even about being tough. It's about asking the right questions or not being scared to ask the right questions. And I think a lot of the media is scared to ask the tough, hard questions because they don't want to risk losing that relationship. They don't want to bite the hand that feeds them and cut off their access, but it's compromising the reporting. Now, Jonathan Gannon, if you remember, he had 3 head coaching interviews last year, the Houston Texans being one of them. So already he has jumped up as the top candidate. Josh McCown, who also interviewed for the Texans head coaching job last year, is also a person of interest. But Jonathan Gannon is being rumored to be the top candidate. And they said last year, Gannon knocked it out of the park with his knowledge, creativity, detailed strategy, staff selection, and passion for the game. He's been dubbed a Brandon Staley 2.0. In fact, Brandon Staley and Jonathan Gannon grew up in the same neighborhood of Ohio way back when, and is kind of cut from the same cloth. They've got a very similar DNA. And here's where it gets interesting. Jonathan Gannon, if named head coach of the Houston Texans, is rumored to be shopping an assistant coaching staff that consists of, you ready for this one? Should Jonathan Gannon get the Texans job, rumored to be his offensive coordinator is Frank Reich. Rumored to be his defensive coordinator is Mike Zimmer. And, oh, by the way, Eagles quarterbacks coach Brian Johnson could also come along for the ride. Interesting. Very interesting. So Gannon might take Brian Johnson with him for the ride and bring over Frank Reich. It's an interesting staff. And I think that's probably the better move for Gannon to transition into that CEO type role. Let Mike Zimmer call the plays. Pretty interesting staff. Now, if that's the combo package, right? There's some other good combo packages out there. Sean Payton, he's another one who, by the way, the Saints have given the Denver Broncos permission to speak with Sean Payton, and compensation has already been worked out. Should the Broncos and Sean Payton strike a deal? Now, the Broncos have also reached out to Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh also in consideration for the Colts job. Carolina Panthers have an opening. So Black Monday, where we typically see a bunch of head coaches fired, it's still early in the day. But usually these things happen very early. In the case of Lovie Smith, they didn't wait till today. They did it after the game. And listen, I mean, at the end of the day, it's a bottom line business, and this Eagles defense is ranked number 1 in yards allowed. They're ranked number 8 in points allowed. DVOA, which a lot of teams actually put stock into, number 1 in pass, number 5 overall, and this defense has got 70 sacks without blitzing. Jonathan Gannon's going to get himself a job. And I've always thought that Gannon, not Steichen, was the more appealing candidate just because of his personality. Say what you want about his scheme. When he gets up there and he talks to the media and you see his personality, he can connect with you now. When you talk X's and O's, this guy, you're going to fall in love with the words that are coming out of Jonathan Gannon's mouth. And if he's surrounding himself with guys like Frank Reich and Mike Zimmer and Brian Johnson, that's a pretty good staff. I'd be curious to see what a Shane Steichen coaching staff might look like. Would he be interested in bringing Brian Johnson as his offensive coordinator? Good question. Richard Rosana. Yeah, but Gannon won't have the Eagles front line? Absolutely. Sully Music says, hey, I'm watching third and second string guys have great days against us. Are my eyes off? No, they're not off, Sully Music. What you got to understand, though, is these week 17, week 18 games, the backups might not be as talented as the A squad, but they're hungrier and they're playing for all 32 teams. And there's something to be said about that. So you've got guys that are fighting tooth and nail to not only stay in the league, stay on their team, playing for a contract. People trying to get paid out here in the National Football League. This ain't just no gimme layup shit. So I think that's what you're seeing. Like Davis Webb, I heard the comment, oh, he's not a National Football League. He's never made a career start. Davis Webb might have more preseason starts than any quarterback in the league. I'm a big preseason football fan because I cover the draft. I love preseason football. Davis Webb has started more preseason games than any quarterback I can remember. Oh, by the way, he trains year-round down at Test Football Academy right up the road with our paisan, Tony Rasiopi. Like, yo, there's a reason why this guy has hung around in the league for 6 years as a backup. Remember him at Texas Tech? I do. Remember him at Cal? I do. He was right after Jared Goff. Some people liked him more than Goff coming out of the draft, believe it or not. So, I mean, listen, Davis Webb has worked a lot of, put in the work to get that start. And by the way, who was it? There was a team that wanted to sign him off the practice squad this week to start. Was it, what team? Somebody tried to sign Davis Webb this week and off of the Giants practice squad. Davis Webb turned it down before he even knew he was starting this week. Somebody, I forget who, tried to sign Davis Webb. They tried to sign him off of the Giants practice squad. Davis Webb said, no, I'm cool. No, thank you. And I think in a way, Brian Daboll rewarded that young man. Show enough, John DeFilippo is the coach of the New Orleans Breakers of the USFL. Don the Gamer, welcome to the show. Buckle up. So it's interesting. Couple other news and notes from the NFL. Boy, Nyheim Hines. You think there was some magic in the air in that game? Wow. Not once, 2 times to the house. Wow. How about Damar Hamlin? He's got his new clothing line out, his new website out, new shirts. He's a live tweeter. So great to see him back. Very uplifting. Nyheim Hines and Peter King, Monday morning quarterback. Not a big fan of the person, but I do tune into the weekly article. He said, Nyheim Hines, who you remember was an in-season trade, he said Damar Hamlin, probably the most welcoming teammate, and almost every day would walk by his locker like, yo, you're going to break one. I feel it. There's a big one coming. Damar Hamlin would always walk by his locker room and say, oh, there's a big one coming. I can feel it. Espo, I know it hurts. That's a good call. We got to get the RIC fathead. Kansu, 5573. I think it's ridiculous the Chiefs get handed the number 1 seed. We got into that on Football Friday with Mike Gill a little bit. By the way, I'll get into some of the playoff seedings and the Eagles schedule and sound bites in the final segment. But one, we knew JJ Watt was going to retire. That one we knew. And I see some people just automatically assuming that he's a lock for the Hall of Fame. We had that discussion here too. He really only had 4 or 5 great seasons. I'm not sure if that's enough to get him in, but it's a hell of a resume and a short body of work. The one that caught me a little bit, I don't want to say off guard, but I was surprised by how Aaron Rodgers exited the field last night. In a way, surreal. Like, the look on his face told you maybe this is it. Maybe this is it. And he walked off the field in tandem with his best friend on the team, Randall Cobb. And as they walked off the field there at the end, there was a point where one of the other players stopped to give Randall Cobb some dap and say what's up. And Rodgers stopped and wanted to wait for his buddy, yo, this is the last walk. We're walking off together, right? And you see Rodgers just with his arm around Randall Cobb, even into the locker room where Rodgers shoved the camera guy out of the way. I was like, yo, get the fuck out of here. Because you could see he was trying to have a moment, which might have been his last game. I don't know if I saw that one coming. Maybe it was the final time that we see Aaron Rodgers. And, man, they gave it a shot right up into the end. James 8107. JJ Watt is a lock for the Hall of Fame. He played 10 years, and 5 of them were really good. The other 5, not so much. I think the problem is you've got 5 really good seasons and 5 subpar seasons, many of which were due to injury. He's going to be in that Terrell Davis, Gale Sanders category where do 5 great seasons, do 5 great years make a Hall of Fame resume? I don't know. Because from 2012 to 2015, yeah, JJ Watt was the best in the game. That's a 4-year body of work, though. He had 20 and a half sacks, 10 and a half sacks, 20 and a half sacks, 17 and a half sacks, led the league twice, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know. 2016, 1.5 sack. 2017, 0 sacks. Now he had a bounce back year in 2018, 16 sacks. Then 2019, he had 4 sacks. 2020, he had 5 sacks. 2021, he had 1 sack. First ballot, Phillypolis says. Wow. I don't know if I see a first ballot. I will say, I mean, that 4-year window from 2012 to 2015, J.J. Watt was the best in the business. No doubt. Now, if 4 great seasons is enough to get you inducted into Canton, I'm not going to be the one that argues with you. All I'm saying is you've got to start assessing some of these other candidates. If you put J.J. Watt in, you might be opening up a can of worms when it comes to the Pro Football Hall of Fame ballot. All right, we'll take a quick break. There's so much I want to talk about, but we only got another 30 minutes of power to do it. So let's take a quick break. We'll reset. Kansu, with that logic, Hassan Reddick's a Hall of Famer. Yeah, William Stark, you got it. Longevity, it's a question. The Hall of Fame, it used to be you had to have like 10 quote-unquote Hall of Fame type seasons to get in. That bar has been erased, but I don't know. I see like 4 or 5 great legendary, like Tony the Tiger great type of seasons from J.J. Watt. Then there's like 5 or 6 seasons that are not so good, really. Can you be a Hall of Fame if half your career was spent in mediocrity? I just think it's a fair question. That's all. That's what we do here at the Football Playbook. Real talk, RIC, in the place to be. Hey, Philly Dilly, 14-3, Bird Gang, what up? Smash that like button. Gonna pay some bills. Take a quick break. We'll be back right after this.
Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean.
At Pond Lehocky, we've recovered billions of dollars for our clients, and we're confident we can do the same for you. With over 250 years of combined courtroom experience, we've helped over 100,000 injured clients obtain some of the largest settlements in Pennsylvania. One conversation is all it takes to help you and your family get back on track. If you've been injured in an accident, give Pond Lehocky a call.
Number 1, Jeff D'Ambrosio. Destination Downingtown is rolling back prices for a December to remember. For a limited time, you can own, not lease, brand new 2023 Jeep Wranglers for only $30,995 or $339 per month. New Rams starting at only $30,995 or new Ram 1500 Bighorn Crew Cabs $189 per month. Zero down can deliver. Get the price you want, the selection you need, and the VIP treatment you deserve. Jeff D'Ambrosio, Destination Downingtown, Big Finish Sales Event.
We all know that taxes are just part of life. It's true during our working years, but also in retirement. But what you might not know is up to 85% of your Social Security benefits might be taxed. Our team at Thrive Financial has helped retire thousands of people across the Delaware Valley by asking questions they never knew they needed to ask, including how their Social Security benefits might be taxed. It's time to be proactive on taxes. Get your Thrive Retirement Tax Playbook today.
postgame show with Seth Joyner,
I knew that they had a running game.
Derek Gunn,
He has put in the effort.
Devin Caney,
Had we not won the Super Bowl, what would we be saying?
and Mike Missinelli.
Well, you know who Philly is.
Postgame, now streaming on the 6ABC family of apps.
We keep it moving. We keep it grooving here on the TFP with RIC in the place to be, broadcasting live from the Jersey Shore around the football universe. It's Real Talk with your boy, Ric Serritella, on this Monday, January 9th. It's our 88th episode of the Football Playbook. 34 days until the Super Bowl, 108 days until the NFL Draft. Welcome aboard. Buckle up if you're here for the ride. First time, long time, everyone in between. We're here weekdays, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. And as New Jersey Fishing Maniac said in the chat room, we're on our way to 100 likes. We have yet to hit the 100 barrier. New Jersey Fishing Maniac tells me we're at 67 likes with a half hour to go. So can we get 33 in 33 minutes? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's make it happen. I wanted to get into a couple of topics here. If you're just tuned in, we've covered the Eagles extensively, or as extensively as we can with what we know. And so Jalen came out to MVP chants yesterday. I thought he was thinking a little bit too much, which was to be expected. And I think that's a good thing and a positive thing for Jalen playing yesterday, understanding his threshold tolerance for the pain, understanding his limitations, knowing what he can and can't do, and now going back to the lab and huddling up with Coach Sirianni and Shane Steichen to figure out what's going to stay in the playbook, what gets removed from the playbook, and what can we do differently in the playbook. So 24 years old, second youngest quarterback to win 14 games, Dan Marino being the youngest, so some pretty good company there. A.J. Brown breaking Mike Quick's 1983 receiving yardage record, some great company there. Devontae Smith broke the single-season reception record. I don't know who previously held that. I would love to know. I didn't have time to look that up. Somebody, please tell me. Thank God for Jake Elliott yesterday, huh? The unsung hero. We haven't talked about him yet. 5 for 5, 2 field goals from beyond 50, including that 54-yarder. And Jake Elliott, good guy to have entering the postseason. He is perfect in postseason play, including 2017, where he was 7 for 7, and last 2 years now, 8 for 9 for field goals beyond 50 yards for Jake Elliott. Pretty good. Irving Fryer, thank you, Fishing Maniac. Devonta Smith breaks Irving Fryer's single-season reception record, and Miami Dolphins were the team that tried to sign Davis Webb and rescue their season. Now, they still pulled it out with the one Skylar Thompson, and right down the middle with some room to spare for Jake Elliott. So Boston Scott, we mentioned him scoring his 10th career touchdown against the Giants. Unbelievable. And Robert Quinn, we haven't mentioned him. Looks like he still does have a little gas in the tank. So even if you get Sweat back for that January 21st matchup, then you still have Quinn to throw into the rotation, along with Brandon Graham, who also spoke to the media yesterday and said, we can be so much better And I saw somebody said they want Eagles and Chiefs Super Bowl. Well, Brandon Graham was asked about the head coaches. You know, he's played for 4 head coaches here in Philadelphia, and they asked him to compare and contrast Andy Reid versus Nick Sirianni. And BG said, hey, Andy Reid was more old school with it, more of a throwback type of coach. He did say, yes, Devonta Smith's single season reception record for wide receivers. So Zach Ertz has the single season franchise record still, I believe. I lost my train of thought. I'm sorry, guys. So, the Chiefs and Eagles angle. So, Brandon Graham said Andy Reid a little bit more old school. He did say this: Nick Sirianni, attention to detail is second to none. Second to none. His attention to detail. Brandon Graham said he's never seen anything like it. And oh, by the way, I thought it was pretty interesting that the NFL put out the 2018 schedule yesterday. Now, when they do these kind of things, they don't actually put the dates. They just tell you who the home opponents are, who the away opponents will be. But they did say, for some reason, the 17th game of the season I saw was being reported Eagles-Chiefs, week 17 for 2023. The 2023 schedule. Did I say 2018 concept? I'm thinking 2017 vibes. 2023 schedule. And the Eagles and Chiefs will do it in week number 18 next year, last week of the season. So next year, the Eagles will play the AFC East and the NFC West in 2023. They will have 9 road games, 8 home games, 9 road games. Kansas City being a road game for that final week of the season. And so here's the opponents, guys. Home, of course, they'll play the NFC East. Then they'll play the Arizona Cardinals again. They'll have the San Francisco 49ers at home. The Buffalo Bills will be making the journey to the link. The Miami Dolphins and your Minnesota Vikings once again on the schedule for the Eagles. I think that was a road game this year in Minnesota, right? So the Vikings come home, come to Philly, and then away on the road next year. Of course, the NFC East. The LA Rams, which Sean McVay, we told you, looks like he could be exiting stage left for a seat in Hollywood. I could see Sean McVay on one of the pregame. I could see Sean McVay sliding into the Sean Payton chair that Payton currently sits in. So the Rams, the Patriots will visit. The Eagles will be at New England. They'll travel to LA for the Rams. They'll be at the Jets. So those are good road trips, the Patriots and Jets. Then they'll make another cross-country expedition to Seattle. They'll go down south on the East Coast to Tampa Bay, and then with the Chiefs. So not too bad. You get 2 cross-country road trips to the Rams and the Seahawks. Otherwise, you're basically outside of Dallas and Kansas City. You're on the East Coast all season. Away games with the Giants, Commanders, Patriots, Jets, Buccaneers, all very East Coast friendly. Phillypolis says Sean McVay running from the grind. I don't think so. I don't think he's running from the grind. I think that he tried to double down and do something that's very difficult to do, which is win back-to-back seasons. Now, Sean McVay, I think he had like an $18 million per year TV deal on the table. Turned it down to come back. I don't think he's turning it down a second go-around because Sean McVay ain't dumb. He knows he sacrificed all of his draft equity for a Super Bowl, and it worked. And hats off to him. But the LA Rams are going to be in salary cap purgatory or salary cap hell for the next 5 years. He knows that. He ain't stupid. You think he wants to stick around for a team with no draft picks, no cap room, and a banged up quarterback who's shot, Matthew Stafford, and a backup in Baker Mayfield who's a bust? You think Sean McVay wants to stick around for that? McVay, he could be one of these Bill Cowher guys where, I mean, he is cut for Hollywood, isn't he? From the way he looks, the way he talks, the way he dresses. I mean, this guy's made for a TV gig. Yeah, the Rams sold their soul for a Super Bowl. And I'm not mad at him for that. Now, what's interesting is that we do know the Saints are going to request at least a first-round pick in exchange for compensation for Sean Payton. It makes you wonder why Payton would want to interview with the Broncos, because they just traded all of their draft equity. They just gave up 3 first-round picks for Russell Wilson, and now they'll have to give up another first-round pick for Sean Payton. I mean, Sean Payton, if he takes over the Denver job, they're going to have to rebuild through free agency, not the draft. And does Sean Payton really does he really want Russell Wilson as his quarterback? I thought he wanted Tom Brady. Jeff says, hey, I kind of look like Sean McVay. Hey, I'll take it, Jeff. It's better than the compliment I got last week where somebody told me I look like a dirty tennis ball. So we'll take it. We're getting better as the season wears on. Brian, yes, the Eagles are locked and loaded into that 10th pick. And I'm going to get into some of the prospects here in the National College Football Championship tonight. We're running out of time on the TFP show. Yeah, the Saints want compensation. In fact, the Broncos and Saints have already agreed to compensation if Payton does agree to coach the Broncos. And we know a first-round pick is part of that compensation. A young George Lopez. I never got that one before, Dank. I think you've had one too many dank burritos if I look like George Lopez. Oh, baby. Buckle up. Quickly here, sound bites. Sound bites from yesterday. Sirianni said this team is resilient. They fought hard. Got to clean up some technique. Oh, I'm sorry, that was Brandon Graham. Brandon Graham was talking about, or no, that was Jason Kelsey. He was talking about the need the week off to do some self-scouting, clean up some technique, get it right, get it tight. Sirianni, said they did some things different, probably because of the health of Jalen Hurts. Thought they moved the ball well. Offense didn't execute in the red zone. Next goal is not the Super Bowl. Next goal is the next game. and we got a week to self-scout and prepare. Now, the Eagles have 4 potential opponents they could face on January 21st. Could be the Bucks, could be the Cowgirls, could be the Giants, could be the Seahawks. We won't know until after this weekend. Jalen Hurts said he won't smile until they win the Super Bowl. Job's not finished. We're now 0-0. There's a new goal. He pushed himself beyond limits to be available. He said for the risk reward, which was the number 1 seed, said it's a huge accomplishment, but maybe he's not realizing the magnitude of it just yet. Miles Sanders, we talked about, had to take a break pregame just from the emotional toll of his good friend Damar Hamlin. Said they FaceTime every day. 0 questions on his health, his role. Brandon Graham said they could play a lot better. Darius Slay, he was asked about the Galladay play. I don't necessarily blame Slay for the coverage on Kenny Galladay there. I mean, the only beef I had is Slay never got his head turned around, so he didn't know where the ball was. But I mean, he blanketed Galladay, and he said he joked with Kenny Galladay's former Lions teammate saying, "Hey, you finally got one on me." Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was feeling himself. If you want a self-righteous, braggadocious interview, go watch Chauncey Gardner-Johnson after the game. He'll tell you how great he is. And, yeah, Jason Kelsey. So, hey, I'll be happy to answer any other questions that inquiring minds want to know. I try to do a better job than the lackadaisical media, and I'm starting to think maybe I should just put out the bullet point questions for the Philly media. Just post them on Twitter like, yo, attention Philly media. Here's the questions that you need to ask today. Maybe I'll lay it out there for them so we can get some real answers here on the Football Playbook. But, man, it's been 2 hours of power with you here today on the 88th episode, Monday, January 9th. TFP with RIC. No Monday Night Football in the National Football League, but we got something better. Thank you, William Stark. And yes, we're praying for New Jersey Fishing Maniacs. Pops, man, definitely resonates and hits home there. So we'll be thinking about them. Okay. College Football National Championship. If you're San Francisco Cowboys in Minnesota, the way the new playoff seeding works, Brian, with only the first team now gets the bye week. So they actually reset or recalibrate the seedings after this wild card weekend. The 1 seed faces the lowest remaining seed. So if the Giants beat the Vikings, the Eagles will play the Giants. If the Vikings beat the Giants and the Seahawks beat the 49ers, for example, they'd play the Seahawks. So they'll reset the seeds based on how the games play out this weekend. Anyway, college football championship. My hot take for today, as if I didn't lay enough out there for you today. I got TCU with the upset. How about that? They're getting 2 touchdowns, by the way. This Max Duggan, I counted him out 1 time against Michigan. I won't be the fool to do it a second time. No siree. This TCU team is stacked. They're locked. They're loaded. Max Duggan is headed to the Senior Bowl. I think he's a day 3 prospect at the quarterback position. They've got 2 draftable running backs. Kendre Miller should be back for this one. He's their lead back. DeMarcado is the 3rd down back, change of pace. Both draftable prospects. And then Quentin Johnson, we talked about it, could very well. He is my number 1 rated. I had to go back and watch all the draft eligible wide receivers over the weekend. Quentin Johnson, for me, I think Paul Mancini put it out there. One of you guys said it. He is wide receiver number one. I think this kid is a potential top 10 pick at 6'3". He's got Calvin Johnson-esque kind of traits. And then the defense, and Steven Avila, Jason Kelsey, could he retire if the Eagles win it all? Keep a lookout at the center for TCU. Avila, a lot of people think he's the number one rated center prospect in this year's draft. And on defense, man, they got more playmakers. Dylan Horton, this guy had 4 sacks last week. D. Winters, I think, had 3 sacks last week. They're both getting drafted. How about Hodges Tomlinson in the slot? Eagles need a slot cover guy. This Hodges Tomlinson, he's a little bit short, which is why he plays the slot. Pretty damn good, though. Could be a top 100 prospect. So you would think Georgia is the one loaded with pro prospects. Oh, by the way, New Jersey Fishing Maniac, you're not the only one with the heavy heart today. My understanding is Kirby Smart's dad also dealing with some pretty significant health issues, will not be able to attend the game. I didn't get to read the whole article here in the commercial break. Sounds like Kirby Smart's father also dealing with some major health issues. So in terms of prospects for the Bulldogs, I like this Darnell Washington. To me, he's the number 2 rated tight end on my big board, 6'6", 265, just a huge catch radius, great athleticism for a big man. I like this Darnell Washington. I think he could be a top 50, top 75 type of pick. Offensive tackle, Lane Johnson is a guy who suddenly could retire and ride off into the sunset if they win the Super Bowl. How about this Broderick Jones out of Georgia? Good-looking tackle prospect, a little bit raw, maybe a day 2 developmental upside. Broderick Jones. Cedric Van Pran, the center for Georgia, also a day 2 or day 3 type prospect. And then Kenny McIntosh and Kendall Milton, both running backs on the NFL radar. Believe it or not, Kenny McIntosh reminds me of a little bit more polished Miles Sanders. He can run, he can catch, a little bit more physicality, a little bit hard-nosed running style between the tackles. I like this Kenny McIntosh as a day 3 kind of plug-and-play guy. I think you could plug him in for Miles Sanders next year and not even skip a beat. Kenny McIntosh, check him out tonight. It's all going down. The Bulldogs, 2 touchdown favorites? I think not, my friends. Give me the TCU to win outright. And wow, as we go off the air, mega news, Phillypolis in the chat room is telling me Arizona Cardinals fire, there it is on my phone, the biggest fraud of them all, Cliff Kingsbury, gone in Arizona. This will be an interesting decision. Shane Steichen could be a candidate here. We know Kyler Murray is going to miss half the season. To fire a head coach going into that situation, going into that dilemma, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I'm sure Sports Take will have it covered here in just a minute or so. So, hey, keep it locked right here on JAKIB Sports. Sports Take is coming up next. Smash that like button for your boy one more time if you don't mind. And we'll be back at it again tomorrow, Tuesday, weekdays, 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. It's the Football Playbook with Ric Serritella. Big shout out to Tone the Shields II, holding it down, the super producer. See you tomorrow, everybody.
Go to get your game on. Go for the beers. Go for the cheers. Go for the hit and the hits. Go for the stakes and the stakes. Go to get your parlay on. Go to get your party on. Go for the scene. Go for the screens. Go for the gallery. Go for the win. Go to Ocean. Visit theoceanac.com.